Hello there, and I'm finally happy to break your airwaves, even if it's just for a few minutes. My name is Nick, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be able to announce that I'll be your host for the Insidious Agenda podcast. I wanted to use this short episode just to give you a chance to get to know me a little bit. I'm a 32-year-old Canadian, currently living in the town of Gibbons, Alberta. It's a small town with only about 3,000 people. It's located 25 minutes north of the city of Edmonton. I've lived here since August of 2020. I was born and raised in Halifax, Nova Scotia. My mother was a career registered nurse, and my father was the proud owner of his own pest control company. I have one sibling, my sister, who is 2 years my junior, and is a wonderful school teacher in central Alberta. For a day job, I'm currently an administrator in the Canadian Armed Forces, where I've served for over a decade across multiple of Canada's provinces and units. I'm also soon to be a veteran, as I'm currently in the process of leaving the military, readying for a transition to the Canadian government's public service. I'm married to my wonderful wife, who I've been with for over a decade, and married for 3 of those years now. We live with our 2 fur children, our cats, Bandit and Carter. Unfortunately, tragedy met us this year. We lost our 3rd cat and our best friend Ace on Valentine's Day after a year-long battle with chronic kidney disease. Outside of my day job, I love working out in the yard, especially on my garden. When I'm not there, I love watching movies and working on my fantasy novel. Hopefully it'll be my first of many. As of now, it's a bit of a pet project, but it gives me a creative outlet, so I'm really hoping to be able to share it with everybody someday. I'm also an avid lover of football, and I certainly look forward to fantasy season starting up again in the fall. For my own personal interests, I really love the same things I did growing up. The Power Rangers, Jurassic Park, Star Wars, and into the video game world of Resident Evil, Final Fantasy, and Mass Effect. My interest in video games are where my love of stories was born. My favorite movie of all time is Starship Troopers. My love of music really spans across all genres, unless, of course, you're unlucky to be a modern country. My playlists, when I'm working out in the yard, are usually to the tune of my 3 favorite singers of all time. The King, Elvis Presley, the legendary Bob Marley, and the most beautiful voice of New York, New York, Frank Sinatra. My day-to-day workout playlists are stuck in the 2000s. Blink-182, Sum 41, Simple Plan, Billy Talent, Good Charlotte, Linkin Park. I've changed a lot over the years, but my taste in games and movies, and music, never really has. Moving on to talk about the podcast. I'm absolutely ecstatic to be able to bring you to life the stories of paranormal events that have haunted humans for as long as we've walked this earth. My entire life I've had a passion for the unexplained and terrifying things that will haunt an imagination left to run wild. I have such a love for these stories, and I believe that stories are truly what bring us together as a people. Even I find it hard to believe that I have such a love of these things as they all scare me to death. I can't really be home without the lights on, and to be truth be told, even as I sit down in this basement and record this episode, I've got every light on that I possibly can. We'll touch on more things in this podcast that are of a dark and malevolent nature. The belief in the realm of the unseen, as the great J.R.R. Tolkien would say, allows us to believe we're not alone. The bad things can be with us, but so too can the good. I truly believe we're not alone, and that we're fortunate enough to have the spirits of our departed companions and loved ones with us all. My goal for this podcast is really to create a community and bring together lovers of this genre. I always find that, these people are hard to find, since nobody's ever really forthcoming that they're a lover of the paranormal. And everyone who is a fan will rarely usually sit there and talk or bring it up in conversation about how fascinating the concept of something like demonic possession really is. I want there to be something for everyone. The ghost people, the demon people, the occult fans. I want to touch on all of it. Because, like I said, there are such beautifully woven, tragic, and amazing stories to be told that sometimes just need to be brought to light. I want to foster a positive space where all are welcome and respected, where we can all engage in meaningful, fun dialogue. I'm truly hoping that with your support, this podcast can grow into a wonderful community. So, fresh out the gate, and as I learn to navigate the world of podcasting, I'll stick mainly to the narration and recollection of past events. I'll fill the episodes with as much detail and perspective as I can. As we grow, I'm hopeful to bring in some amazing guests and other members of the Insidious community who will hopefully share their stories of paranormal happenings in their own lives. So, I really hope you've had the opportunity to get to learn who I am and what I hope to achieve with this podcast. I'm planning to launch this podcast with weekly episodes on Tuesday mornings beginning on the 12th of July, 2022. I'm planning a few episodes to be released at launch. Make sure you follow our socials and our podcasts wherever you get them, and leave a review. Please always let me know what you've thought of the episodes, what you liked, and what you didn't. Also, feel free to drop us an email at insidiousAgendaPodcast@gmail.com. As an outro to this episode, I really wanted to share something I believe that's crucially important. For all of our listeners and members of our community who are going through a struggle with mental illness, be it depression, anxiety, or anything in the mental health spectrum, I want you to know that you're never alone. You're part of a community now of thoughtful and caring people. If you need help, help is always available. For my Canadian listeners, the Canada Suicide Prevention Service is available 24/7, 365, and can be reached anytime at 1-833-456-4566. Again, that's 1-833-456-4566. For listeners from around the world, I'll make sure a pinned post is on each social account where you can post a helpline that's available in your country. I wanted to thank you for taking the time to listen to this host biography. Again, you can stay tuned for a teaser trailer in the future, just to give you an idea of what's coming. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be with you again soon.